Hey, we're Mads and Dan, and we're travelling around Australia in our self-converted van, Rio.
In this video, we spot the red dirt of the Northern Territory for the palm tree-lined coastline of North Queensland. We ferry our van over to the tropical paradise of Magnetic Island, the home of secluded beaches and hundreds of wild koalas. We'll take you along with us on our island road trip and share our top tips with you at the end. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Wulgurukaba people. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. We made it into Queensland. Woo! We came across in Camo Wheel. There wasn't any border checks when we had our passes, so just keeping going. We're headed as far as we can today. I think we're going to make it to Julia Creek, which is where we're hoping, so that tomorrow we have less driving and that we can arrive at the ocean, which will be so nice to see after some time in the middle of Oz. We're glad to be back in Queensland. We actually just didn't think that we'd have time to explore, but because of what's happening in Sydney at the moment, we've got plenty of time, but we're not rushing back. We're super excited to see the more tropical part of Queensland and keep exploring. We just booked to get Rio over to Maggie Island tomorrow. They do a package for camping and you can bring your van over and get an unpowered or powered site on Magnetic Island. So we're doing pretty much 3 days on the tropical island, which is so exciting. We're currently still in the outback. We're in what town was that? Hewenden in outback Queensland. It's also really hot. But we're so excited, so we're headed to Townsville now. Our ferry, the only one we can get for tomorrow, is at 5, so it's going to be another early start. We woke up this morning to watch the Euro finals in football, which isn't coming home, sadly. But yeah, we're really excited. Made it to Townsville! Yay! We're so excited. The ocean is right here. Palm trees everywhere. It's humid rather than dry beach. Oh, so nice. We are so glad that we could bring Rio with us on the ferry. It was so easy. We obviously had to wake up super early because it was the only available ferry today. So we got up at 4:20 and got to the ferry terminal, left at 5, and then I think we landed here at like 5:30. It's really quick. We chose to bring Rio across because we were looking at accommodation, and all accommodation is like $100 plus a night. And to bring Rio over and to have one night camping costs $230. It might be $260 because we're not sure, but we went on a weigh bridge when we went in and we think that we weigh more than 2.5 tons, but then it's just $260, so it's just an extra $30. And then we've got another $20 to pay at the campsite because we're doing 2 nights rather than 1, and the package is just for 1 night. So it's either going to be $250 or $280, which is like so much more worth it. That's like doing, and it costs I think you have to hire a car when you're here, so that's about $100, and then it's $60 for a passenger ferry, so like return for both of us. So it just makes so much more sense, and we get to bring Rio around, which is so cool. That's what a little koala. See that? He's really pretty on his side. He's like jumping around all the trees. This one's asleep, so we're not allowed to stay around. But koalas sleep for 20 hours a day. It's getting the full. So we're just coming to the end of the fort hike. It's such a chilled hike. You could do it quite quick, but we were looking out for koalas on the way. We saw 3. Which was so cute. 2 were sleeping, 1 was quite playful.
Quite a bit of elevation.
Yeah.
And stairs.
And a bit rocky on the way down, but it's like really cool. It's cool to see the World War II ruins. Yeah, 100% would recommend. It's still pretty early, so we've got heaps of time to keep exploring today.
Tropical Bay. We just had a swim here and it's absolutely amazing. It's like a little slice of tropical heaven. When we first got here, no one was here, so it's absolutely amazing. Sun's out, doesn't feel like winter at all, so had a blast soaking up some sun, and the water was just amazing, nice and clear and beautiful temp.
Good snorkel?
Amazing. Really cool.
Egg wraps?
Egg wraps.
In paradise.
It's very nice. Yeah, this morning we went to Arthur Bay, which was awesome. Seriously, I had such a great time. The snorkeling there is unbelievable. And saw so many different kinds of fish and coral and the reef and stuff, so it was really cool. We went down a road, it says private road and 4-wheel drive access only to get from, it's like at the Forts car park, down to Arthur Bay. And yeah, the van managed it fine. Easier on the way down. On the way up, it was a little bit of a struggle, but nothing too bad. But yeah, we wouldn't drive past Arthur Bay. We've heard it gets really 4-wheel drive conditions past there. Just busy chilling now by the beach at Horseshoe Bay. We've parked up here. We've got one hell of a spot. It's so nice. So we're just dipping in and out of the water constantly all day. So nice. Enjoy it.
Today is our last day on Magnetic Island. We have just checked out of Bungalow Bay campground where we stayed, which was quite expensive, but not as expensive as staying in a Airbnb or like in a cabin here or something. So yeah, it was really cool that we could stay in the van and cook and everything. We're driving to the other side of the island. absolutely loved our time on Magnetic Island. It was our first stop in Queensland and it was just a perfect introduction. It was so fun being able to bring Rio over. We just thought we would share some of our recommendations for going to Magnetic Island. So the first one would be to bring your van or car or whatever you are travelling in. You can rent those kind of famous topless cars, which are all pink and everything, while you're there, but obviously that means you have to rent it, and then you also have to get accommodation, whereas obviously if you have a little home on wheels, I would recommend bringing it over and spending 3 days there. We did 2 nights, 3 days. In total we paid $260 for the ferry and 1 night accommodation, and then an extra $40 because it was $20 per person for the second night of accommodation. The only place you can stay at the moment is the Bungalow Bay koala village, which is normally a backpackers hostel, but I think with international border closures they've opened up to vans. It wasn't the best organised and we did get overcharged, and our friends also got overcharged, so just make sure that you're paying the right amount. It's like perfect location, you can walk into Horseshoe Bay, but it's the only option on the island, so
For vans.
For vans, yeah, it's worth it, but it's just make sure you're being charged correctly.
Yeah.
The best thing about having the van is obviously we were able to bring all of our own food and drinks, so we didn't have to eat every meal out, and just had everything with us the whole time, didn't have to pack a bag, just drove around with all our stuff, so that was good.
One of the highlights for sure was definitely snorkeling at Arthur Bay. The visibility was great, the water was super calm, and there was just a lot of sea life there to look at, but also the reef was just super pretty, lots of colours. Yeah, I was so fascinated by it. I was probably in the water for like over an hour just looking at everything. It was so much fun. Yeah,
It's a short swim to the reef.
Yeah, super easy swim, and yeah, it was really one of the absolute highlights.
Magnetic Island has some of the best beaches I think we've been to in Australia. I think there's 23 beaches, and some of them we had all to ourselves, which is amazing. Even though Magnetic Island is kind of built up, there's a few beaches which are more secluded and which we liked more. Our favourite beach was Tropical Bay, which there's a 4-wheel drive track, but I think that track's been closed because it was so bad. So it's pretty much only accessible by a trail, which you do from either Horseshoe Bay or from the Forts Walk area. The walk there is really nice. It's not too bad. It's basically up a headland and down. It's doable if you're confident doing hikes. And then we also went on that same trail to Boulding Bay. It is a nudist beach, so just bear that in mind when you're going. Not compulsory, but yeah, just bear that in mind. And that's super nice as well, great swimming there. And then we also went to some other ones which were not quite as like pretty, but still good for a swim, like Horseshoe Bay, where there's lots of cafes and pubs. And then
Turtles.
There's turtles there as well, but the water visibility is not as nice. It's more of a like, there's lots of boats there. And then there's also Alma Bay and Picnic Bay, which has a jetty, which was cool, which we walked down. And then Cockle Bay wasn't that nice a beach. I think we were there at really high tide, so I'm not sure what it would be like at low tide. But that's where you can see the SS Adelaide shipwreck from, which was super cool. Basically, make a lot of time to explore all the insane beaches they have there, because they're some of the best in Queensland for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And also when you're there, make sure you do the Forts Walk. We did that the first thing as soon as we got off the ferry. It is a pretty gentle slope up the hill. On the way, there's a good chance you'll see koalas just kind of in the trees. We saw a really playful little one, and then a few sleeping ones, and there's amazing views. You get really good panoramic views of the whole island, and then it's also really cool to see the forts from World War II and the kind of lookouts and all of that.
Good to do early in the day as well, because it gets busy. It's
yeah.
Like the top attraction, because everyone wants to see koalas.
Finally, the best time would be May to October, because November to May is stinger season. The only reason we say this for Magnetic Island, because obviously this applies from lots of tropical North Queensland, is that you can actually swim here. It's croc safe, but it's not stinger safe all year round. That's all our tips. Hopefully that is helpful. A must do for any road trip in Queensland.
If you enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe to follow our future travels. In the next episode, we're going to continue going north to explore tropical North Queensland and make our way towards Cape Tribulation.